One thing, if you are listening to Taylor Swift's discography for the first time ever and you're doing album by album and the next song is about to be the 5th track of the album, you should be scared.
Oh, why is that? Hello, Jackrabbits Nation. My name is Heidi Bushong.
And I'm Allison Bruns.
And this is the Yellow and Blue Podcast. Taylor Swift is a pop megastar. She is the first person to win Album of the Year 4 times. She has 14 Grammys and was named Time Magazine's 2023 Person of the Year. She's currently performing her Eras Tour internationally.
There's no questioning the popularity of Taylor Swift in mainstream media. But what if we told you that one of the largest student groups at SD State is all about her? Here with us in the studio today are Emma Brown and Olivia Petrick, who are members of the Taylor Swift Society. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
We are so glad to have you guys here to kind of give like a really good icebreaker. One of the big things with Taylor Swift, her fans, Swifties, is the exchange of friendship bracelets. At Eras Tours, people are giving them out all over the place. People have them all over their arms. I made some SD State themed bracelets today, and we're going to exchange them. And I kind of wanted to say a little bit about our favorite album or our favorite era. I decided to dress up as the Fearless era. That is one of my favorites. When I was growing up, I was in high school when Fearless came out, and it is my favorite album by far. The Other Side of the Door is probably one of my favorite songs, and Love Story. Definitely danced at prom to Love Story, so that's why that's my favorite album. How about you, Emma?
I would say my favorite album, it's always a toss-up between Reputation and Folklore. It depends on the day. I can't ever really decide. But I'd say, I don't know, probably Folklore.
Okay.
Today.
Let me see your bracelets. I want to see what these look like.
Okay, I have one that says Starbucks Lovers because that's like the common misconception.
I feel like that's got to go to you, Allison.
Lyric.
I don't drink
Okay,
coffee.
I'll take it.
And then always good Taylor's version is a good.
Ooh, look at
Good one.
that. Love that. Love that. How about you, Allison?
Yeah, so I would have to go with the Red album. That was my first Taylor Swift concert that I went to. I think I was about 10 at the time. And
10?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So just,
I feel like a lot of Swifties feel that way.
yeah, so just, that's my all-time favorite. I love it. These are my
Awesome.
bracelets. I'll have you pass those two down.
Love that. And Olivia?
My favorite album probably changes like every single day. Right now, it's Tortured Poets Department. I just love that album so much. I've been listening to it nonstop since Friday? Yeah, Friday. But other than Tortured Poets, I think my favorite album has always been like Speak Now is always up there, and then Folklore and Evermore are always up there too.
Sure.
I have a lot left over from tour, so you guys
That Long
can...
Live, that is one of my favorite songs.
Yes.
Oh,
my gosh.
wow, geez, look at all these.
Yeah. You guys can take these two.
Yeah.
You're giving
I have
us all
so many.
these?
I have so
I
many.
love this.
I'm
We're
sure
gonna
I'll get
go make
more.
some new friends here at SDSU. I'm just gonna hand them out to kids. So tell us, what is the Taylor Swift Society?
Well, I actually started the Taylor Swift Society like 2 summers ago with a couple other NSO leaders that I was working with over the summer. And my advisor, Ashley McConnell, actually gave me the idea for it because she saw a bunch of stuff on like Instagram and Twitter that was like talking about other schools that had them. And she was like, oh my gosh, we should start one. And we talked about it for like probably a year before I actually started like writing our constitution and stuff during NSO training that summer. But the club itself, it's really just like a place for anyone interested to come like have fun every other week. We do a lot of different stuff. Like our last meeting, we watched a YouTuber, his name is HT Hayes. We watched a lot of his reaction videos to her songs, and it was so fun.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. You helped create the Taylor Swift Society originally. What did it take to, start a club? It sounds like it's pretty easy to start a club based on your interests here at SDSU.
Yeah, it is pretty easy. Basically, you just have to write like your constitution and your bylaws and stuff. And then you go in front of the student association and they basically vote on if they think your club should be a club or not.
Sure.
and I don't think they've ever voted no. So
We'll have to take a look at the record for that. So what do you guys do at meetings? I know you said you were listening to a popular YouTuber react to some of the songs. What are some examples of things that you do?
yeah, so we also have had like listening parties for all of the new albums when they come out. We hang out in the Union basement usually to listen to them, and it's super fun. Some of my favorite meetings are the lyric analyses, which I usually take over for those because that's my favorite part.
She's really good at it.
I love doing that so much. I just like all of her songs connect in one way or another, so I love talking about it. We also, for Valentine's Day, we always make paper rings, and we have like game nights and stuff, like trivia nights. It's just so fun.
That does sound like a lot of fun. Emma, what's your favorite part?
The listening parties are always fun. That's always one of my favorites. As stressful as they are, like for the exec board, we love doing it because people always, it's kind of like an expected thing now because Tortured Poets was at our third one or fourth one? Third, I think.
Third.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an annual thing almost. But I mean, she drops albums like twice a year at this point. So it's kind of like an expected thing. So that's always fun. Yeah, the lyric analysis is always fun, especially hearing like their theories and stuff. We always do like hot takes at the beginning or ends of every meeting. Those are always interesting to hear. So we get some fun laughs and some gasps and some agree,
gasps.
disagree. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
People feel pretty strongly.
Yes.
I'd love to see that sometime.
Yes.
Me too.
How many members are in the Taylor Swift Society? It seems like it's pretty big.
Our Jack's Club Hub, I think we just hit 100,
Yep.
right? We just hit 100 on Jack's Club Hub, but I think on average for meetings, we have anywhere from like 10 to like 25, 30 sometimes. Listening
Yeah.
parties, though, we usually get like 30 to 40.
Sure. Absolutely. I know there were a ton of you walking in the Hobo Day Parade. You guys had your own float.
We did.
What was that like?
That was so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was freezing, but it was really fun, like seeing everyone in their like themed outfits and just like handing out candy. Everyone was so excited to be there. It was so much fun.
Yeah. We gave our members each like just a plain flag, like a white flag from Amazon, and we just had them paint, whatever lyrics they want or references or anything like that. And they all got to hold it while they walked through the parade, which is really cool.
For sure. I remember watching it with some friends, and they were like, what is that? I was like, it's the Taylor Swift Society. And they're like, that's a thing? I'm like, 100% that's a thing.
We got a huge reaction. I was honestly surprised. People were loving it.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who were excited about it, and then there was a lot of like dads who would ask us if we had Travis Kelce in the back seat or something.
That's awesome. Well, that means you guys got to do it again, right?
Oh, yeah.
Always raising awareness. Why a club about Taylor Swift?
I just really love the idea, honestly. Like, I know that like a lot of people I feel like you either love her or you hate her. So
Oh, yeah.
and
People have very strong
one
feelings
thing
about
about
her.
me, I love to cause a scene. So when Ashley came to me with this idea, I was all for it because I love being dramatic. And so the idea of like seeing people cause such a scene about a club has been so much fun.
Oh, wow. That was not the answer I was expecting, Olivia.
So much fun.
That's awesome. So for people who may not know, do you guys want to get into some Taylor Swift basics?
I think we should.
Yeah. What would you say for people who don't know much about Taylor Swift? What would you guys say people should know about her?
They should know the number 13, that she loves cats.
She loves to cook.
She loves to cook and bake, yes. There is like, every time there's an album release, I'll always see someone on Twitter or Instagram talking about how they made like their chai sugar cookies and stuff, because that was like a really popular recipe of hers that she posted on like Tumblr or something a long time ago. What else?
I don't know.
What do you think? Anything that you like, what stands out to you when you think of Taylor Swift?
I would just, for sure, the 13. I think that is so iconic.
And why is 13 important?
It's her favorite number.
Yes.
But isn't her birthday also December 13th?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like 10 reasons of why
There's
she's
so
listed.
many. There's like an interview of her on, I think, Stephen Colbert or something from so long ago, where she's talking about, well, I was born on the 13th, and when I won my first Grammy, I was in the 13th seat of the 13th row of whatever, and oh my gosh, there's like so many different things she talks about that all like related back, and there's a bunch of Easter eggs that always add up to 13 somehow, and she's, oh my gosh.
She definitely finds a way to incorporate it in just about everything. Yeah.
So
do her fans, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, there's a reason why you see fans, like, painting the number 13 on their hands.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I think people should know Taylor for is, like, her different eras. Like, she's been making music for so long. She's been making music since 2006. And gonna age myself here, but I was in middle school when that came out. So Teardrops on My Guitar was like the perfect, like, he doesn't love me anthem. So it was amazing. But yeah, like, she's just transformed so much over time. I think like her music appeals to broad audiences. Would you guys kind of like say that?
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty indicative thing of Taylor Swift. Anything else you think that is a basic idea behind Taylor Swift that people should know before we get into like the rest of her stuff?
And this is kind of a little bit off topic, but like one word for her would just be like girlhood, I guess. That's a thing that's going around. Like when I went to her concert in June of last summer, there was people of any gender and any age there. So not just girlhood, but it's just like, I don't know, just living. Like I saw grandmas there with their grandkids. Yeah. There was one guy in my row who was like construction worker, long beard. He was sobbing to every song. And so it's definitely, she's just gonna have something for everybody in that way. So she's not just for middle school girls, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it started that way, but definitely revolutionized over time. Yeah. That's a really good point. I know you three have been to the Eras Tour. I saw it on Disney Plus. And my husband watched it with me, so you're right. It does appeal to broad audiences. But one thing I think you could say about her too is entertaining. Yeah. You know, she knows how to like captivate an audience. But yeah, we can talk a little bit more about her Eras Tour. What is so significant about Eras with Taylor Swift?
Honestly, I don't even know how the era term started, but it's basically just like the time immediately before and after an album that doesn't overlap with the time before a next album, if that makes sense. So like the 1989 era would start, I define it as when she chopped her hair, which technically was during Red Tour. But the 1989 era ended when she blacked out her socials for Rep.
Sure.
So the exact timeline of an era is kind of hard to define sometimes, but when you look back, you know exactly when it was.
Yeah. And you can tell a lot kind of like with her street fashion and stuff like that. Like I kind of looking back on it now, like for Tortured Poets Department, we knew something was coming. And now that it's out, we're like, oh, she was in the Tortured Poets Department era, we just didn't know it, kind of, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's kind of like you can tell something's happening whether you know it or not, if that makes sense.
For sure. So at the Eras Tour right now, she's performing 10 different eras, 10 different albums, dating all the way back to 2006. So she has, 10 different eras, but some of those albums were remade into what we call Taylor's version. So for people who don't know what Taylor's version is, what is that?
So a Taylor's version album is her re-recording of one of her first 6 albums. And she did that because she was working with a label at the time for her first 6 albums that she had a contract with. But then, long story short, a bunch of stuff happened with them, and she decided she wanted to own her work, which she had wanted to own her work for a long time, but it was more important to her than ever because of the stuff that happened with her old label. So because she writes all her songs, she has the rights to the lyrics of the songs, so she can just re-record them under her own name. So then the label that she was working with before wouldn't be able to profit off of them.
Right. So she like re-records her masters to have rights to them. And then she also adds in like a few new songs that didn't make the album cut the first time. So if you ever see an album and it's red, Taylor's version, you know that's the re-recording of the album. And then like some songs that would be added in is like, I Bet You Think About Me, like that kind of thing. People usually stan the Taylor's versions. I know the radio groups and, Spotify and stuff like that have probably been trying to promote those versions because she profits off those then too. Right. You guys were talking about it a little bit earlier, all the lyric analysis and how she leaves clues. What are some examples of things that she does as an artist to like keep people going?
Well,
I know it's so broad.
So many ways you could go with this, but like, in her lyrics, like in Tortured Poets, she has a lot of lyrics that hint back to Midnights or Reputation or Lover that like you hear that, or even sometimes she'll sample her old songs for like a short, like 3-second clip of a new song. Like
the production is the same.
The production is the same for the beginning of the songs. For example, like in Love of My Life on the new album, she samples the piano in the beginning of White Horse.
Oh, yeah. I gotta listen to that.
I did not know that. Yeah.
And I think there's one in Tortured Poets that samples Call It What You Want. I don't remember what the song is. It Guilty as Sin?
No. It's,
I can't remember what it is, but she samples stuff
it's
like...
So Long London.
Okay, yeah,
So
that makes
London.
sense. Yep.
Sure. Any other clues that kind of get you going? Or, she always leaves like little puzzles and things like that. And you're like, how did people get that? Or how did she even think of that?
I just think back to the Google puzzles that she
Yeah,
had for
I was just gonna say
1989
that.
Taylor's version, and how fast her fans are like able to solve them. That's just unreal to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fans are invested. They want to know what's coming next.
Yep.
And another big thing is like the fan theories that are out there.
Oh yeah,
Just
so many.
The different like speculation on debut Taylor's version and Reputation Taylor's version. Any that you guys have heard of?
There's definitely some crazy theories out there that like some kind of track like, oh, that makes sense. And then there are some that people are just reaching. And so we kind of try to
always
not interact with those because it's so invasive and it's not really nice to do that to people. So we kind of like try to talk about like the fun ones that could be like, oh, when's the next album coming out or stuff like that. And just like hints in music videos and stuff like that.
One thing I know that you guys wanted to talk about that might kind of fall under this category is track 5. Like what's so significant about track 5 on her albums?
So one thing, if you are listening to Taylor Swift's discography for the first time ever and you're doing album by album and the next song is about to be the 5th track of the album, you should be scared.
Oh,
You should be scared because every track 5 is like it will be one of the most like gut-wrenching songs you've ever heard in your life, because we've got like from debut Cold as You, and then White Horse, Dear John, All Too Well.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah, there it is.
And then So Long London from the new one, and
Delicate is the only not sad one for the most part.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because she was kind of like at that point in a new relationship. So it's kind of like starting the beginning of that. But I'd say from what I can remember, Delicate's like the only kind of upbeat one a little bit, if that makes sense. But yeah.
So earlier in here, we had some of our coworkers in here, and we were talking about who would be an enemy of Taylor Swift, and we're like, oh, just start listing them off. And one of them was Jake Gyllenhaal, and they were like, why would that be an enemy? I'm like, have you ever heard of All Too Well? Like literally, she wrote a 10-minute long song about him. Yeah, it was a masterpiece till he tore it all up.
Exactly.
yeah.
Oh, yes. So let's talk a little bit about the Eras Tour. You 3 have been. What was it like?
It was insane.
I cried. I don't remember it, to be honest.
I
cried a
I
lot.
watched videos of people crying.
I don't remember like most of it.
The concert, I knew
It
the
was
concert
awesome.
amnesia would hit. I didn't think it would hit that hard. But I remember like snippets, but I don't remember it as a whole.
Yeah,
like the
it was-
videos on my phone are the only thing that are like keeping me remembering that.
It was the shortest 3.5 hours of my life.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
the shortest.
Yes, the shortest. It went by so fast, but it
Yeah.
was unreal. Yeah.
Where did have you each been once?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you guys go see?
I went to Kansas City the second night.
I was Minneapolis the second night.
I was also Kansas City night too.
Oh,
Yes.
Small world.
Do you see Travis Kelce?
I was gonna say.
Oh, I didn't even think of
Wait,
that.
did you?
I did.
No way.
I saw him when we were walking up. I saw him like. No, I must have been when we were in like on like the top deck of the stadium because we were trying to find a spot to take good pictures, and we saw him and a bunch of other people like walking into the stadium.
Oh my.
And I was like, "Is that Travis Kelce?" And everyone was like, "That's not Travis Kelce. You're psycho." It was
Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
It was Travis Kelce.
From where my friends
Olivia
and I were
loves the drama.
sitting. Yeah, from
I do.
from where we were sitting, we kind of like had figured out that he was above us or maybe below us. I don't exactly know, but that's like we always talk about it. Like, yeah, Travis Kelce was at our concert that we were at, and so yeah, it was such a fun experience.
It's always fun to like go on Twitter, you know, while you're waiting for the show to start and see who's in the celebrity VIP tent. That's always fun to see who's at your show and stuff. So
Absolutely. So the reason why I ask where you guys went to the Eras Tour is because it has been a huge pop culture phenomenon. You know, it is the first tour to gross over $1 billion, and it's still going. She booted Elton John for the spot, you know, the widest grossing tour of all time. I don't know what you guys paid for your tickets, but tickets averaged $238 for face value. Each show grossed $17 million and played for an average about 72,000 people each show. 4.2 million tickets were sold and merch grossed over $200 million, as Allison is so proudly donning today.
Yes.
Did you get that at the concert?
I did. I waited in line for probably an hour and a half.
I would have thought longer, to
But
be
it was
honest.
so worth it. I
that's
mean,
not
we
bad.
got in quick. It was
Yeah.
so worth it. I would have waited longer.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just cool. Like, it's just, I like merch, and I just think it's even cooler that, I mean, she's got her face on here like 10 times. So, yeah, I like it.
So what is so significant about the Eras Tour? Why does everyone want to go?
I don't actually know how it all started being like everyone freaking out about it, but I just remember like the day that she announced tour, I feel like they're like Earth had to have shifted or something
everybody just
because
stopped what they
there
were
was
doing.
not that many like hardcore Taylor Swift fans before she announced tour. And then the whole Ticketmaster situation happened.
yeah.
Trying to get tickets was insane. But I think people were just really excited that they knew for a fact they would get to hear like old songs that are like really sentimental to them. So I think that was a big part of it in the beginning. And then at one point, I feel like it did become like trendy to go to the Eras Tour if you like could financially afford last minute tickets.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's like with the Reputation tour, you're gonna get mainstream or like all the Reputation songs.
Sure.
1989, you're gonna get all the songs from the album. But like with the Eras Tour, you're gonna get a snippet, a handful of songs from every single era, as we talked about. So it's kind of nice to like, if you're a Swiftie from like older generation or like middle school age right now, like you're gonna get songs that you know from every album.
Right. Well, and like a significant part of this too, you know, she's performing 10 different albums, songs from 10 different albums. Weren't there like 4 albums she hadn't performed live yet?
Yes. So
Because
we had
2020.
we had all been kind of speculating like what she would do, and there was a term for like the Folk Lover More tour that she was gonna go on after COVID, since Loverfest got canceled and then Folklore and Evermore came out and then Midnights came out, and we were like, oh, we'll probably get a tour after this. And then we did, but we thought it was just gonna be like those 4 albums, and then it was a lot more than that.
Yeah.
For sure. What was your guys' favorite part about the concerts?
For me, I would say like just kind of reliving that part of my childhood. Like
Yeah,
it's almost, she almost just has like a nostalgic feeling, I would say. And I felt the same way seeing her live, like the same way I did when I was 10 years old versus 20 years
Aw.
old. Like it was kind of that like full circle moment for me.
Yeah, I had to definitely agree with that. Like the first night of tour, I was watching one of the TikTok live streams, and seeing
sure.
her do the little spin with the guitar when she plays Fearless
Yes.
made me bawl my eyes out. I actually like went insane after that. Oh my gosh.
I would say my favorite part for my concert was the surprise songs. So the
Yes.
surprise songs are kind of a huge speculation at every single concert. She has the acoustic set. She plays one on piano and one on guitar. No fans ever know what the songs are going to be. I don't know if she has like a spreadsheet of, okay, this night we're going to play this, or she just does it because she felt like it 20 minutes before she went on for that part of the concert. So I think the surprise songs, especially for our show in Minneapolis night 2, was a little unexpected, but it was crazy.
And the planning that she puts into that, like the thought that she has to what surprise song am I going to play tonight? Like she has to have that planned out months
and she has
in
to
advance.
practice it because it's been years since she's performed this certain song or that, so she definitely has to plan that out.
Did you have a favorite part?
Honestly, getting to hear Long Live live was insane. And I was also watching the live stream the night before when the Kansas City first night show. We were trying to take pictures at the Cornelia Street sign, and there's like everyone was watching the live stream either on their phone or whoever was close to them in line. And collectively, we all realized at the same time that she was staying on the stage after singing Enchanted. And so everyone at the same time just started freaking out because we were like, oh my God, she's going to play Long Live. And then she did. And it was insane.
So we talked about why the secret songs are important and what people are expecting. I know people look up on social media, to see what was the secret song in Australia tonight, in Sydney. What was the secret songs when you guys went?
I had Last Kiss and Dorothea.
I had Dear John and Daylight.
And you guys went to the same concert?
Yep.
That's so wild.
I know,
you guys were both there.
Yes.
So obviously, the Eras Tour has been a phenomenon. You see it all the time on social media. Let's talk a little bit about her impact on pop culture and society. She's really spread out through a lot of genres. She started out as country, kind of made that transition to pop with 1989, little bit of hints of there in Red. And now she's kind of charted into untold territory after starting dating Travis Kelce. Got more people to know about the NFL. What would you say Taylor Swift how has Taylor Swift impacted society or pop culture?
Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start, honestly. I feel like
just the impact is insane. Like from any aspect, from whether it's like a small business she's bought jewelry from, like there's a page on Instagram dedicated to finding every single aspect of her outfit, and then you go to that website where she bought something from and it's sold out within minutes to an hour. And like the Chiefs themselves have made so much money off of her, which is great. So I mean, like, like things like merch and tickets, even I'm sure Swifties have gone to Chiefs games and stuff too. So just profiting that and the NFL in general too is something crazy.
Impacted mother-daughter or father-daughter relationships with football.
Definitely.
I definitely saw some Super Bowl commercials relating to that this year, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
What would you think is like kind of her biggest impact?
I would just say like her fan base and how they all just gather around her, and then also kind of just gather around each other. I think that's kind of unlike anyone else that I know. Like, that's just really special.
Sure. One thing I always look at is like, I know music is sold differently today, is like how many records have been sold. And Taylor Swift is 34 years old and she's already sold more than 200 million records. She's really getting up there. I mean, at the top obviously is like the Beatles and people like that, but she has a lot of time to really make up that momentum and close the gap to really be the best-selling artist of all time. And I think that alone really goes to show the impact of her music on people.
I don't think she's stopping anytime soon for that impact. I think
she's got time.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about her newest album, then the Tortured Poets Department. It really is as it sounds. The title. The way I try to describe it to people is like if Edgar Allan Poe wrote music.
Yeah.
I feel like if you put like Sylvia Plath, Edgar Allan Poe together in a room with Jack Antonoff, the same thing would happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yes. That's fair. That's fair. What did you guys think this album was going to be about going into it?
I thought it was going to be a lot about her past relationship with Joe Alwyn, which there was chunks of that in there, but I expected it more like if Folklore had like Red production. was what I expected. But that was not really the case. The Red production for some songs was pretty close, but it was not like what I expected, like Folklore.
And there were also no singles on this album that were released before that whole album came into the world, like Midnights. There were no singles.
Right.
We went in blind. Same thing with Tortured Poets. We had no idea what to expect. We didn't even know the genre. Like, we had an idea, but we didn't know what exactly it would sound like. So it was kind of, I always think it's fun to kind of go in blind a little bit to see what's going to happen. So that was fun.
Absolutely. What did you think before listening to any of it?
I would just touch on, like, I had no idea what to expect at all. Just the name was like something different than she's ever done. And I didn't really know what to make of that. So, but yeah, you're definitely right. I think the songs reflect the album title. So yeah.
I'm kind of with you, Olivia. Definitely thought it was going to be a lot about Joe Alwyn because wasn't that like a dig? Wasn't he part of like...
There was
Like, you know what I'm talking
we're
about.
getting into the lore now. There was a group chat of him and Paul Mescal, Phoebe Bridgers' ex-boyfriend, fiance?
I don't know.
Phoebe Bridgers' ex something, and someone else I don't remember who, but it was called the Tortured Man's Club.
Ah.
And I don't remember exactly how like the public found out about that.
I think it was in an interview that Joe did.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
That he said that was the name of a group chat or something.
Sure.
But
So I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up. Honestly, Twitter will take you down a rabbit hole.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's a good or a bad one, you will end up somewhere on Twitter.
Sure. So now it's been released. What did it end up being versus what you thought? I mean, it was a double album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. 31 songs.
Almost 2 hours of listening time.
I feel like
Yeah.
what we're used to, especially with like Speak Now and Red, it was very obvious who the songs were about. But I feel like this album was a lot more about how she felt rather than what happened with Joe or what happened with Maddie Healy or what's happening with Travis. I think it's a lot more focused on this is how whoever did this made me feel rather than this is what they did.
Sure. Yeah, definitely didn't expect there to be songs about Travis on there.
No,
But
I
nobody
didn't either.
did.
I didn't either.
Were you guys expecting the double album?
No. I mean, obviously there was, theories about something's coming because the peace sign that everybody kept. So like something, like people thought there was going to be like a 2 a.m. version, which technically there was, but it was a whole nother half of the album, like Midnights with those 2 a.m. tracks, or people thought that it was going to be the re-record of Reputation, Taylor's version. So yeah, we knew something was up, but we didn't know what until it happened.
For sure. We talked a little bit about the double album. In addition to that, there was also a track with Post Malone on there, Fortnite. Talk about that a little bit.
Fortnite, the music video, I've watched it probably like 20 times.
Oh, really?
It's
I
so
haven't seen
good.
it yet. It keeps showing up on my
It's-
YouTube, and I haven't clicked on it yet.
It's so good.
It's good.
It's so good. But honestly, I don't even know what to say. The song's really good. The music video is really good. Post Malone and her voices, their voices together just sound
They
so
really
good.
do.
I did not
Yeah.
expect that at all, but
Another person who has a
good.
lot of range, Post Malone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been a Post Malone fan for a long time, and obviously like he started in rap and everything. He's still in that, but his collabs recently with like Noah Kahan and Beyonce, he can sing. And
Yeah.
especially like now with that, Beyonce, Noah Kahan, now Taylor, like I love how he's experimenting with his voice, and
Right.
I think it's a really good collab, and I'm excited for him to do more and see where that goes. So
For sure. Clara Bow.
Clara Bow.
Clara Bow. Why is that significant?
Clara Bow is significant. Well, it's the closing track on the like main album, and it's basically a song about how like no matter what Taylor does, someone is going to come after her and they're going to say this person is the new Taylor Swift. And she started it out by saying that like from Stevie Nicks' perspective, they were saying you look like Clara Bow in this light, and then the next verse is you look like Stevie Nicks in this light, the hair and the lips, and then it ends by saying you look like Taylor Swift. Oh my gosh.
And she's never mentioned herself in a song before.
it
right?
felt so illegal,
Yeah.
like for
Yeah.
no reason.
Yeah.
The Tortured Poets Department, also known as TTPD, is the first long play in Spotify platform history to have more than 300 million streams in the same day. Why do you think that people really like flocked to this album to listen to it?
I think the Eras Tour had a lot to do with it because she's gained so much popularity since like Midnights and Tour and stuff. But I think people were just really excited to see what it was, since like the long track names and the long title of the album itself were not something she normally does. So I think it was a lot of like curiosity more than anything.
And I think, like, at least for me personally, it took me a couple times to absorb everything and kind of try to figure out what she was saying. And so it takes that many streams to kind of tie all the stuff together and like figure out what she's trying to say.
For sure. Why do you think so many people listened?
I would just say the anticipation. I mean, everyone talking about it on social media, like it has been definitely trending. So, yeah.
I haven't gotten to listen to a ton of it yet. I probably only listened to like 8 tracks. You guys have listened to it a lot. What's your favorite part?
I have like a group of favorite songs. I'd say if you haven't listened to Guilty as Sin, The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived,
Love of My Life.
Love of My Life, So Long London, So High School.
I Can Do It With a Broken Heart.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
I did listen to that one. That
so
one's fire.
good. So good. And then The Bolter and The Black Dog are both really good too.
Yeah.
And then the manuscript is the closing track, which is it's a little bit gut wrenching, but it's fine.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you want to add, Allison?
Just like on the album or?
Yeah, or in general.
My favorite song was Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. That was mine.
Yeah, that one's good.
too.
Yes. So I'd have to add that one in as my favorite.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Emma, Olivia, and Allison for joining us today. This has been the Yellow and Blue Podcast, SDSU version. Thanks for listening.